Welcome to the Doghouse. Have a listen as we take a look at life, love, and art in all its forms. Here's your host, the Rock Dog, Andrew Davis.
If you live in the Comox Valley or you're planning a visit, head to Royston and go to Roy's Town Pub and make sure you ask for the owner, Charlie. You'll thank me later. Charli Aiken is the owner of Roy's Town Pub. He's my guest today in the Doghouse. He's also in a band that are called Rebel Heart. Their album is Yuck Foo. I thought that we'd start things off today by playing a song from that record, Your Self-Made Man.
Carry you all the way. When you make the big time, well, we're the ones who pay. There's no such thing as a self-made man. Everything you got came through other hands. Well, you might have a spark, but we build the fire. There's no such thing. The Harvard education, your rugged good looks. Well, you think you're something special. Well, you're really just a crook. Well, the lives you bought and paid for, with the profits you didn't share. Well, you call yourself a benefactor, but you're really just a player. There's no such thing as a self-made man. Everything you got came through other hands. Well, you might have a spark, but we built the fire. There's no such thing. As a self-made man, everything you got came through other hands. Well, you might have a spark, but we built the fire. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Said there's no such thing as a self-made man.
Well, he came into town, he took over a bar and has turned the place around as far as I'm concerned. Plus, he's made himself, I think, a rock legend now, are you not, with your new band?
Yeah, I just came back from LA, and we had a great time down there. They loved our stuff, and, like everything in life, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
But we are still making traction.
We got Charli Aiken on the Doghouse today. Of course, he owns Roy's Town Pub. Where are you from originally?
Originally, well, if you really want to get technical, I'm from Europe. We immigrated here when I was in grade 2 to Qualicum Beach. Huh. But I classify myself as an island kid because that's really where I grew up.
Yeah.
Well, so Qualicum Beach at the time was a junior and a senior high school. And then in my grade 11th year, they built a new school in Parksville. And so they shipped all the Qualicum people down to Parksville to Bolinas, which only lasted, I think, 2 more years. And then they built a new high school back in Qualicum. So I was one of that unique generation that got to know everybody and was in every class and got to know everybody. So our 40th year high school reunion just took place this last summer.
Yeah.
Geez, I probably shouldn't have said that.
You graduated when you were 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say that, right?
But it was grade 10, 11, and 12 reunion.
Yeah.
It was because these were the classes that were all in that one mess pot now of this Bolinas. And it was just awesome because you literally got to know everybody in high school. Yeah.
That's the cool thing about small towns. I mean, I grew up in Comox back when it really was a small town, and there's a couple of hundred kids in my graduating class, but everybody knew everybody, right? And everybody hung out. And that's kind of cool thing about small town life. Yeah. Where'd you go from there?
Well, from there I took off to Victoria to go to Comox College, and from Comox College I took off to Vancouver, and I left. I was the typical college dropout, as they say. I ended up actually going to Alberta to the oil fields, typically, right?
Yeah.
Did that for a few years. Came back to the island, ended up working in construction for a while, and then ended up going back to school, realizing I needed to finish off my higher education because, smart as I wasn't quite as smart as I thought I was.
You were. None of us are.
No, and I got involved in corporate America, which was a great thing because it taught me the marketing skills I have today. I went to work for Philip Morris, which owned the cigarettes. But I didn't work for the cigarette company. I actually worked for the food service and beverage department. So I was selling Miller beer, Nabob coffee, Maxwell, and I became a beverage specialist.
Were you traveling right across the country?
Right across the country.
You're one of those traveling salesmen living in hotels?
Traveling salesman living in hotels, at least 3-4 days a week, and selling to Starbucks, selling to Dairy Queen, A&W, you name it. I had all the big names back in the day.
You got any cool stories from back then? You run into anybody?
I do. One of my probably favorite. I think his name's Peter Popenoff. He's the guy that owned White Spot.
Yeah. And
so we did this convention back on Vanderzam's property, the Enchanted Village or
whatever
that
it's called.
Fantasy Village. I can't remember. And there was Vandershoff, his wife Lillian, and their daughter, all wearing bandanas, of course, right?
Yeah.
And Joe Namath, the football player, was there. And so we all ended up going out partying that night at the local bar, literally steps away from Fantasyland.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How long have you been involved in music?
So pretty much most of my life, I started in, of course, grade school playing the trumpet of all things, which was good because I learned how to read music. Yeah. And from there, of course, started writing stuff. My parents also owned a couple of pubs and restaurants on the island. And so as a young man, around 15, 16, I started playing the piano. And I became the entertainer, as well as the dishwasher, as well as the busboy, as well as the
mowing the lawn and
peeling the potatoes. But that experience, just was that ability to go and play, which I think doesn't exist today. That really, which is one of the reasons why we do the youth thing with the jam night sometimes, is to get people out front playing, to build that self-confidence, to go, hey, I can get out there and make this work if I want to.
When you took over the pub, was your thought process, do you have an end result, or is it just kind of, we're going to build it? Yeah.
Had a vision. It was a dying business.
Yep.
The last owners, bless their hearts, were a chain and, kind of lost interest. And they were from Alberta, and I don't think they realized how different the West is. And so it had basically gotten run into the ground. And my wife and I would play spy. We would go there for probably about 3 months, to be honest with you. We'd go and spy on the place. And but we knew it from when I was a kid, when it was the seaside.
Yep.
And it was a hustle place, man. Like, there was lineups out the door.
Yeah.
And so I knew there was success available in this place if you could just get back to where it should be, which is a neighborhood pub. And of course, with my music background, one of the visions we had is I wanted to create a music place that was different than what everybody else had.
Yeah.
I didn't want the dance hall. I didn't want the bands. I wanted to create a place that was entertaining, that people would come knowing they're going to see something different and unique.
Is that the reason for the little stage and kind of
Correct.
everybody's around them, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's duals, singles, trios. I mean, obviously for special events, I bring a band in, but the reality is, and that's why we don't play there, is because it's not a band place.
Yeah.
You know?
It's cool though. It's a nice little atmosphere.
Yeah.
You've had some, and you give a chance, I think, to like lots of different people that just want to play there, right?
We get hit from everywhere. I mean, Australia, the States, New Zealand, England. We have, I think, because a lot of these guys can't play anywhere else except coffee shops. There's very few venues like us today. It wasn't back in the day, but today it really is tough to go and play in a pub that wants to have that kind of music. Most of them want the band, so people will dance and stick
Get up and dance,
drink, right? And so we were not going after that venue. We were actually going after the artist style venue, and that has created made us a buzz spot for these guys. So I get emails from all over the place, including like predominant names. It's Terry something or other. This is his second year coming by now. I just lost his last name. But he's played with Muddy Waters. He's played with B.B. King. He's the top Canadian blues artist.
Yeah.
And when he approached me, of course, I wanted way more money than I could afford. And I said, hey, love to have you, but I can't afford you. I'm good friends with the Waverly. They're the music house in town to put on a big venue.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? I'm not looking for that. I've heard about your small atmosphere and what you do, and I want to come play there. And I'm willing to accept whatever your budget is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he came back last year for the second year because he had such a great time the first time. So, as the saying goes, build it and they will come, so to speak, is true when you've got that vision.
And then you added the patio, so build the patio and people are going to come out and use it. It's huge.
It's funny how things happen in life. That was never planned, to be honest. That was not part of the vision. We just got asked by so many people to come and do parties at the place. And so the first time we tried it, of course, we had to almost shut the whole pub down because it only at that time had 85 seats in it. Today it's 106. Yeah. And the neighborhood got pissed off because they were standing at the door going, I want to come into this place. Now you've created this. Now you're not letting us in because you're selling to a private party. And so I said to my wife, Judy, we need to do something. So the first year we took and said, well, let's take the patio and let's wrap it in plastic and throw some heat out there. Yeah. And it was a nightmare for us because I had to rent furnaces and, the tape was coming off on some of the plastic. But it limped through and we realized, we've got to do something. We've got to add on to this place in order to accommodate now what's happening. And today, we sell out our Christmas parties and our parties on that deck in September.
Yeah. No doubt. It's gorgeous, too.
It is.
And everything you've done in the place, too. The new bar that you brought in.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
850 years old.
Oh, it's beautiful, though.
Rescued it, to be honest with you. So I went up to the mill. There was this giant log. I was looking for this live edge bar. And the mill had sold this to a guy in Texas. I actually called the guy in Texas, begged, pleaded, borrowed, did some trading, to let him give me a slab out of that log that came from way up somewhere between Wass Lake and Campbell River. And he actually flew out after we were done, after we had finished doing the renos and put that bar top in, to come take a look at what we had done and was blown away by what we had done with those two pieces of live edge. Oh. And of course, since then, we've added a few more.
Gorgeous.
But that particular one was, the first growth fur that, was going to leave the island, and I rescued.
Kept it here for us.
Kept it here.
One thing you did try to do when you opened Roy's was to try to give back to the community. And the way we do that is fundraisers. And you've always had multiple fundraisers, basically one a month. But you had some big ones, too. Tell us about some of the ones you've done.
Well, our absolute biggest, and my favorite is our chili cook-off every year. And, one of your radio announcers back in the day actually came and entered it.
It was Jacob.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we started off, very, very humble, not knowing what we were doing as always. But we said, hey, let's do this chili cook-off. And first one we threw out was kind of the community. So basically everybody in the neighborhood made chili. And I think we raised $3,000-$4,000. And I think that one, I can't even remember them all. SPCA, Mars, every year it's somebody different. Yeah. So we sort of got to the point where we knew what we were doing now, and we were very good at putting this event on because, we'd learned through the School of Hard Knocks. And so this last year, we did Dawn to Dawn, and I was absolutely blown away by the community support. I mean, we had well over 500 people through that backyard. Yeah. 6 bands, all top-notch guys that volunteered their time, probably close to 100 volunteers. Rotary got involved. We went to all the local breweries, so we had 8 breweries, 9 chilies, and the 8 breweries brewed 2 beers each, which they donated, and all that went to, of course, the cause. We had 16 different cool beers from the local breweries, and we raised just over $17,000 in 6 hours.
For those that don't know, Dawn to Dawn Action on Homelessness is the society that was formed here in the Comox Valley to at least help people that are on the street, but more so to try to get people off the street.
Correct.
We definitely, everybody should have a roof over their head.
It's they're using sea cans to make into houses, and what resonated is I went to go see them finalizing all this stuff this summer that went by, and as I'm there on the property, this guy approaches me as I'm leaving and calls me out by name, and of course, a lot of people know me because of the pub that I don't know, obviously. I call it mini celebrityism. Yeah. So, and I'm sure you've experienced it. And turns out I knew this guy from way back when. Husband, nurse at the hospital, couple kids, and he ended up going through a brutal divorce, sent him into depression. He started self-medicating. He was one of those tent guys living underneath the tent in the streets. I thought he was actually a hired worker there. Whoa. Turns out he's trying to apply for the program to get into rehab, to get into and off the streets, because he was living on a tent and he'd lost everything. And when I came home and said that to Judy, I said, we have got to do this. And we're going to do it again next year, by the way. It's going to be Dawn to Dawn again for this next year for the fundraiser. Because I went, man, if it can happen to him, it can happen to
any of us. Any of us. I mean, we're all basically one paycheck away from a tent at Lewis Park.
Half a paycheck for me, maybe.
That's why you have Judy that will help you with all that stuff, right?
That's right. She's 3 paychecks away.
Speaking of your wife, she just recently won an award.
Yes, she did. So after the Dawn to Dawn thing, what happened was she got nominated. I call it the Wonder Woman Award. Yeah. Because really that's what it is. It's the entrepreneur woman that gives the most in her community and what she does for selfishly giving to other people. And so they saw that because she's the behind-the-scenes person that makes it happen. I'm the ideas guy. She follows me around picking up the pieces and puts it together and makes it the most successful event it can be because she's so detail-orientated. Yeah. And so they saw this when they were there and nominated her, and she won. And then she got a $1,000 bursary given to her, from which she in turn donated back to Dawn to Dawn.
And you guys won a lot of awards. The pub?
Yeah, we got nominated for the best pub in the valley, which blew us away because we'd only ever had pizzas and burgers before.
People liked it.
Yeah.
The thing I liked about Roy's when I first started going there and I first met you, the atmosphere was nice. Like the bar looked good and everything, but it was the staff I found too. Yeah. The people that you hire, the servers that you hire they're just great, nice people.
And you know what? We treat them like family, and I think that's the secret ingredient because we do love them all and we care for them all and we help them when needed. And it's because we recognize without our staff, doesn't matter how hard you work, you have to need these people and rely on these people because you can't be there 24/7. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, and I agree with you. We have amazing staff.
Rebel Heart.
Yeah.
When did this come about?
So, I've always dabbled, of course, I had a cover band for the longest time. I originally started way back when I was younger with an original project, and then we moved here 9 years ago now. We're here about 3 months, and I said to my wife, I got to go play. I need to go play some guitar. And I'd heard about the jam at the Mex. So I go down to the Mex and meet some people. So I did, and threw a quasi-band together for that, 4, 5, 6 song thing that they do. And when I got off the stage, this drummer comes up to me and starts chatting with me, saying he's doing this original project, and they're looking for a front guy, and felt I was a good fit. So I actually blew him off, to be honest. Several times, in fact.
So you're not and he was
tenacious, and he would not. And I finally said to my wife, I said, this guy's not going to stop calling me. So I finally agreed to come and try out. And I think he was so worried I was going to back out again. He came to my house to pick me up, to take me to the event. Needless to say, I was blown away by the group at the time and their writing abilities and just what they were doing. I felt I still wasn't a fit, though, because I'm a little bit more, I'm like you, I'm a rocker. Yeah. And it's in you, right? Yeah. And they were playing more sort of what I'll call, folky type tunes. Yeah. Well, anyways, I didn't think I'd ever hear from them again. And next week he calls again, said, what'd you think? And I told him what I just said. And he said, no, band loves you, So anyways, long story short, we got back together and I said, okay, well, where are we going to go with this? because it's a lot of work to be an original band, way more than being a cover band.
Yeah.
And so we started honing that for the next 3-4 years when we bumped into an old friend of mine, Paul Lane, out of Parksville.
That's a name that rings a couple of bells.
Well known, he's produced Aerosmith, he's produced Loverboy. He's got his own band, which was Danger out of New York for 12 years, which he's still playing with today. They're called Defiant. In fact, they're number 32 on the charts, and they're number 3 in Europe. They're much bigger in Europe than they are here.
Yeah.
So he saw us and said, hey, I want to produce you guys.
Yeah.
So from there, of course, he took us in, honed some of our songs because he's very good at, kind of tweaking things.
Yeah.
Produced us, and of course, we came up with the first album, Yuck Foo, which is a song on there.
Take us through your songwriting. How do you do it? Because I can't read music.
Yeah.
I like music, but I can't play it either. But
So I call him my music business partner, which is the bass player, which is Grateful John, and so he does probably most of it. I do 10, maybe sometimes 20% of the writing. I mean, some of the songs are mine. Majority though, I get involved with him, but he does the primary writing, and so typically. I will use Work It Out because that's actually a song that, so my lovely wife and I, as any relationship goes, we went through a rough time. Yep. And we broke up. And the song Work It Out was that particular moment when this happened. In fact, she wrote one of the lines in that song, which is the line where she walked out the door and slammed it behind her and took everything belonging to her. But it talks about, the work it takes to stay in a relationship and to love and to work it out. And so, a lot of it in there's a lot of political songs too. Everything's related to what we are going through or what's happened to us. Because I think the only way you can truly, really write is to be able to say what is happening. Because otherwise, you're just mimicking something.
Yeah. Love is important, obviously. Family, I know, is big for you as well.
Yeah. I have 2 of my kids working for us at the pub, so and I love it. I'd have all 4 of them if I could.
Where do you want to go with Rebel Heart?
And this is why I went to L.A. Last week to the big music conference. Is we're not expecting to be the next Bon Jovi by any means, but it'd be nice to get out and get our music out there more than just Vancouver Island, because that's pretty much what we're stuck to right now. We've done a lot of festivals. We opened up for Harlequin this last summer. We opened up for the Boom Booms, Nearly Neil. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we did here on the island through festivals and fall fairs. It was awesome. And the next step is how do we get out, maybe open up on a small mini tour, that kind of stuff, just sort of to get that out there, because we think we have a good message to say.
Yeah.
Funny story, Self-Made Man, which is the number 1 song on there, is on about 500 plus internet stations right now. And I got a call from an LA station, and they did an interview like this with me about Self-Made Man. And in the interview, it came up of the same question, songwriting, and I said, it's about really rich people that, forget they need us in order to get the stuff done. And he goes, so did you write that about Donald Trump? And of course, I couldn't say no. So long and behold, they think it's about Donald Trump, which I'm just saying it could be.
It could be.
And that sort of, sparred some of what we were doing on the political arena, and it gave us a little bit of attention from a couple of key people. So
that's kind of the way I've been looking at it too lately, and I've been saying to some people is that I don't think that these big corporations quite realize just how badly they need us, and we don't really need them as much as they think we do.
Back to my staff being my family. It's the same. That song is that same concept. Is hey, you can have $1 billion and build the biggest skyscraper you want, but you still need us to build it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you do. So don't think you did this on your own. And that's the problem. Is a lot of the 0.1% or whatever they are very self-entitled, unfortunately. And so that's that song is that political song about hey, to remind the rest of us, by the way, because the 1% aren't going to listen to that song. Yeah. That hey, we do have a force, and that really came out of, to be honest with you, I don't know if you remember the '99 movement. We Are 99.
Yep.
It actually came out of that because I, for a glimpsing moment, thought we have a chance of getting that message out there. And it got imploded probably because the 0.1% sabotaged it with all the crap they did. Yeah. But the reality is that was the first time in my history where I saw something that had a chance to say, hey, we need to get this message out. And that is, we are the people that make the stuff happen. not the 0.1%.
Exactly. And I think it's happening around the world right now when you're looking at places like Hong Kong. I think Bolivia's under fire. I think Chile's got some problems going on.
Yeah.
Even then you look at the States and
Yeah.
Britain with Brexit.
Yeah.
It's where do you think we should go from here? What do you think the message is that we need to send, particularly to the kids?
And it's a tough question to answer because, we don't want violence, obviously, right? But at the same breath, we have to speak out. And the problem is, politics has become about who's the best of the worst.
Yeah.
It's not about who's the best of the best anymore. And I think we really need to clean house, to be honest with you. And the only way that's going to come about is some kind of reform from everybody standing up. And the problem I see why it hasn't happened is because we can't all seem to agree on the same thing. And it's that old common enemy. Enemy. The common enemy that we have, which is this corruption. That's really what it is. And so what we have to do is we have to say, okay, that's our common enemy. So let's focus on stopping the corruption. That means we got to clean house, get somebody that's not in there, that's going to not be corrupted, that sees and understands. Most of these politicians never even had a freaking job.
Yeah.
They have no clue what it means to live paycheck to paycheck or have to, when I was in college, I had to go collect pop bottles to put gas in my car to get to school.
Exactly.
They don't have a clue, and that honestly, I think brings out character in you because you go, hey, I know what it takes. I've seen the worst of times and the good of times, or however that's what that song goes, right? And I think that's what has to happen is both the young and the old have to agree we've got a common enemy. And we have to address that.
Right. And
the only way that's going to happen is if we all stand up and vote one way, which is reform. And I'm not talking about a party, by the way. I'm talking about a whole change in our system.
Right.
That or we follow what the internet is saying right now. BC, Alberta, and Washington State become their own country. Which we're never going to see happen. But
no. And good luck still pushing that pipeline through BC.
Right?
That's that funny thing. It's just, there's so many differences between just in BC. You got the South Coast and the islands down here, and our, I guess, political outlook is completely. We're wanting different things than somebody up in like Dawson Creek, Fort St. John area.
Correct. That's correct, and that's what I mean by I think we've got to look at the common enemy. Because we're never all going to agree on everything. We're not. But I think if we start with the basics of, we all know what we do want. And then from there, we start bringing in implementation. Because I think if you start on the right foot, which is, hey, I'm not going to be influenced by the big corporations. I'm not going to be influenced by the 0.1s. And we're going to put a guy in that knows what he's doing, that's actually been in the trenches before.
Yeah.
Not just pretended to have a job or didn't ever have a job. And he's been a political career guy.
Yeah.
I think we will then see change. I'll be honest with you, I was actually originally voting for Donald Trump in my mind, because of course I don't live in the States.
Yeah.
Because I thought he's a business guy. I didn't necessarily like him, but I went, he's a business guy. He's actually a good guy to be a president because he'll implement his business techniques. Unfortunately, of course, that didn't work, but the concept was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a country's a little bit different than their business, though, would you think?
They are, but originally when I was listening to him, he was making comments like, China thinks we're a joke, because we let them run us over. I'm speaking of the U.S. now, right? And it was true. And of course, he hasn't done anything about that. But I mean, the point was at the time he was saying it, I went, yeah, that's true. I look at that here. You guys at the old radio station you used to work at used to have a comment, buy locally, think locally.
Yeah.
And that is so true. And I think that goes beyond just the Comox Valley. It's everything we do. I'll be honest with you, and it's so easy to not do this, by the way. Even just buying a car. Why are we buying a car from Asia?
Yeah.
Why are we not buying a North American car that's made in North America, whether it be the U.S. or Canada? It's still supporting a North American economy and a North American concept. And that goes for everything we do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the money just leaves otherwise. And we just literally send ourselves further down the road of a third world country if we keep on that same track.
Yeah.
That's the sad reality if we stay where we're staying, of not doing things locally to help support each other.
All we're doing is just sending billionaires another jet and another yacht.
Perfect example.
Where are you going to take Roy's?
Roy's, well, I think we have kind of maxed out because I've tried to go bigger and they wouldn't let me.
You got a big backyard. What are
I
you doing?
do, but the problem is we're on septic, and so my last application they shot down. So, so we're kind of maxed out now. We're at 260 roughly seats total in and out, with the patio closed in this summer, and so we're running about 165 all the time. And it's a good size, to be honest with you, because it's manageable.
Yeah.
And, I'm always one of these guys that's trying to take over the world anyway. So it was probably good that they pushed me back into my place. I think some of the things we're going to do, we're going to focus a little bit more on event type stuff. We've decided now, we're humming along. Everybody likes what we've done.
Yeah.
They're comfortable when we throw things out because change is always hard for people. And so we decided we want to look at a few different types of event things that we can do that will help keep and engage the community with what we're doing.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, we might throw a brewery on the property.
Maybe. We may be talking again soon, then, shouldn't we? Where can people find you if they want to know more about Rebel Heart and, of course, your great pub as well?
Well, both websites are alive and well and great places to go, and I would encourage you to please like them. And there's a contest on this one, actually. You can win a bunch of swag. You can win a amp to go busking with, a nice little amp that's portable, that's battery powered as well as 110.
Yeah.
Some t-shirts and so forth, which has our Marahoochee song logo on it, which is, of course, about the wonderful weed industry at BC, which is a whole nother conversation. But the rebelheartband.com
Yeah.
and theroypub.com.
Perfect.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. Are you going to work with Paul again?
I am. We actually are back in the studio. We are doing right now a new song that came out of this wonderful age group we now live in. And basically, part of this politics we've been talking about is, no longer being duped by the innocence of our youth.
Yeah.
That's gone now.
Yeah.
You had your chance and you blew it. But I've still got amends of things I got to do in my life. And God has graciously let me still live. So I Ain't Dead Yet is the name of the song. And we're doing a video production with it as well. And we're getting a bunch of video clips, which would encourage you to go to the website for. We're looking for clips for people to say, why aren't you dead yet? Because we're going to implement that into this whole concept of why we're still alive and what it is we need to do. And we're bucking this system now of what's been going on in our world.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's going to be, I think, one of our best songs ever, to be honest.
Funny story about Paul Lane. I remember Paul Lane when he first came out, I think it was 89, and he released this Stick It in Your Ear CD.
Correct.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I'm 20 years old, 21 years old when he came out. Best fucking record I ever heard.
Yeah,
Loved it.
yeah,
Cranked it up.
yeah.
His hit single on it was, of course, the song Doriana.
That's right.
I ended up meeting the lady that I am now with, my current wife.
Yeah.
We've been together for 15 years.
Yeah.
Her daughter is named Doriana, and yes, she is named from that Paul Lane
Oh,
song.
my goodness. That's amazing.
And
That's
the two worlds
hilarious.
somehow came
Yeah.
together.
And he's
It's
still playing
fantastic.
that song, by the way, over in Europe.
Yeah.
With his Defiance group now, which
Yeah.
is the Danger guys minus one person, basically.
He's a cool cat.
He is a cool cat. Love him
cat.
to pieces. He's a great brother and friend.
So are you, man. I appreciate you coming on here and doing this
Thank
with me.
you.
I'm trying to get this
is
thing
awesome.
really kicking.
And I hope you kick it beyond kicking it. And I'm sure you will.
I will.
Awesome.
Thank you much.
Thanks, Andrew.
Spent so many lonely nights thinking about you, babe. Wake up in a cold, cold sweat, just like the early morning dew. I said something that got to you. Didn't mean to make you mad. Grabbed everything belonging to you. Head out the door as it slammed behind you. What does it take, my friend, to work this out? Looking for the love we share, just me and you. Come on, baby, let's work it out. Work it out now, work it on out. What we got is too good to lose. Let's work it out now, me and you. reaching out to you. Take everything that I have and I'm gonna give it to you. I would do most anything just to be with you. Lay it down for the world to see that my love is true. Come on, baby, let's work it out. Word out now, work it on out. What we've got is too good to lose. Let's work it out now, me and you. Hand on my heart, I swear, didn't mean to cause you pain. Can you see the love I have? Let's get it straight. Come on, baby, let's work it out. Word out now, work it on out. What we've got is too good to lose. Let's work it out now, me and you. Come on, baby, let's work it out. Word out now, work it on out. What we got is too good to lose. Like Ken and Bobby, we can work it on out. Work it out. Work it out.
You've been listening to The Doghouse with Andrew Davis.